All right, how did we end up here? For those of you that don't know, that is going to be a transfer case out of this thing. So I noticed when I was doing the transmission fluid that you can kind of sort of see I had some seepage coming out of the transfer case. So I thought, well, let's go and let's go fix the seal or whatever, right? Thinking it would be like any other car. In my head, you just had to pull the axle flange out, pop a new seal in, and you're done. Unfortunately, Land Rover, in their infinite wisdom, you need all of that. You're going to be doing bearings in it, and all that fun stuff. So this is going to be maybe not exactly a DIY on how to do this, but I've just been searching the last couple days and there really is no video there of how to replace the seals and do all that fun stuff. There was one guy that did a teardown of this thing. There's kind of a couple of videos of how to remove it. Getting these two bolts kind of sucks ass. This one also sucks ass, but isn't terrible. This one, or hold on. This one was terrible to get to. Yeah, this was the shitty one to get to. But that's all pretty easy other than that. Gas tank bolts, didn't have to take those off, but had those off. The drive shaft bolts, motor mount, took that out. There's a little bracket. That, and then 8 bolts holding that. Also, the little vent thing on there, I broke that one off, so that one's a oops on me. Yeah, maybe I'll do a video of how it goes back in. Or maybe you guys will never see this video again, but we'll see. If I fuck this up and the car doesn't run, you will never know about it. But if you're seeing this, then it probably runs good and I made this all work, so we'll see. All right, so we're starting on this thing. Found a couple stuff online about somewhat of the process. So we're gonna start with that. I'm gonna link the stuff I found online in one spot if anyone else is doing it. Start off with removing the actuator for the transfer case selection, for the transfer case mode selection. I'm gonna start doing that, and then probably take any sensors off. Take this guy out, get it out of the way. Get those out. Split the case and then go from there. So let's see. All right, 4 bolts for the actuator. E10 was 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, once that E10, those 4 bolts are out, this thing pops right out. No real fuss there. The seal is going to be on the motor side. So here we just have the bearing and it looks like a snap ring. Next one off is going to be the little sensor here. That's going to be an E7, 2 bolts. And then also, I'm marking this one because I don't know if this has an orientation. So I've got a paint marker, just mark that there, just so I know that the connector faces the rear drive shaft. Okay, that comes out. There is a keyway on this, so that is notched. My guess is for reassembly that make sure that the orientation is the same for that. All right, next up, I'm going to remove all of the case bolts to get this case split off to get that end off of the transfer case. All right, 19 screws and that's off, or those are off. Next thing I'm going to do is put a kind of a little flathead and work my way around breaking that seal, going all the way around. All right, so prying it, it eventually got loose. Then you lift it up. Neat. Very, very neat. So 30-second overview of the case being split. The magnet does have some metal on there, 175K. But yeah, so this is the inside of the transfer case. Yeah, pretty neat. So I'm gonna start with this back bearing here. There is a little C-clip or a little retainer. I was able to start prying that with my finger. So that's gonna come out. Okay, so the clutch pack part was sitting on this right here. That comes straight off. Nothing fell off there. Still have to change those bearings and seals, but I'm trying to get this apart to actually go for the seal. That was my issue. I want to inspect all the bearings, kind of see, is it worth taking them out even though I'm all right here? Maybe not, maybe so. So I'm just going to inspect everything right now, take it all apart and see what's up. Next thing is going to be getting the ring out, or the chain. Basically you pull on both sides and this whole thing should just slide out. So we're gonna do that next. All right, so this is day 2 of this. Well, probably day 4, honestly. Slowly been working on it after work. Did a Harbor Freight run to pick up some sledgehammers to get the bearings out and some bearing pullers. And then a seal driver set because I don't want to use sockets. First one I'm going to try to get is going to be that guy out. I got everything kind of sort of cleaned up. Some brake clean. Got that done last night. So I'm going to see if I can get this guy out. And then I'm going to struggle with the seal clips or the C-clips to get the shafts out to be able to get the rest of the bearings and seals out. Okay. I think I finally got a little bit of the hang of this. So heat up the housing on the outside using this barbaric slide puller. Put it in like that, like so. The little arms, like they're hanging onto there. And you kind of keep whacking it. It slowly starts coming out. You can kind of see it like so. So that's how I got this one out. Okay, so after a little bit of hammering, this fucker came right out. So now I go to the kit for the transfer case rebuild provided by Lucky 8. Some of the bearings are down here. Some seals, some more bearings, fun stuff up there. Basically now I just gotta match this one with another one. So this specific bearing is 6207C3. That would be that guy there. That's the old one. That's the new one. New bearing. Makes a little bit of noise. So we'll see if I could find a noisy one, or if I had a noisy one, we'll know here. All right, so I gave this guy a clean. The wheel bearing has the part number. On the old one, it was facing the inside. I'm gonna install it the exact same way. That's gonna go there. I'm using a 76 mil seal driver on this thing to get that in. I am going to be using a little bit of wheel bearing grease on the outside of the bearing. And I'm gonna use heat also. I'm gonna heat this up real quick before I start hammering. So I'm gonna coat a little bit of grease on this, start heating it, slide this in, and start tapping it to get it to seat.
So that was the easy one. Make sure that's all flush, which it is. Bearing still spins. So 3 more to go.
Okay. Next one is going to be the one for, let's see, this is going to be the output for the rear drive shaft. So there's 2 layers to this. Layer 1, or I'll start with layer 2, is going to be this C-clip right here. Right there. That one. And then layer 1 is this little C-clip here. So I'm going to start with this one, get the little C-clip out, then I'll be able to get the output flange out. Then I'll be able to get that C-clip out. That's going to get the bearing out. And I'll be able to change the seal and then basically reverse order to get it all back together. So the one person that's kind of helped me on Facebook to walk me through is saying this C-clip part is the shittiest thing. That's what takes the longest. So to do the transmission input seal / bearing, I was reading online that you have to measure the depth. Make sure you insert it to the same depth. So I'm going to do that now. Got my trusty 6-inch ruler. A little bit over an inch on that one. It's almost 3 millimeters in, or a little bit over an inch. Gonna try getting the seal out from the back. So I'm gonna push that there and just hit it with a hammer, see if I can pop that seal out. So I gave this a whack and it kind of shot right out. And then we have a C-clip. So get that out, and then the bearing will probably come out going this way. So I just spent probably 20 minutes fucking with the wheel, this bearing, trying to get that C-clip out. Fast forward, I realized you can just hit it with a hammer and it'll come out the other side, like so. And that's out. I supported it because I haven't done this one yet. That sounds like shit. Haven't supported that yet. So I put it on some 2x4s so the shaft doesn't hit the floor. Literally 3 hammer taps and it's out. The new bearing is going to go in the exact same spot there. So that's it. I'll do the same thing with this bearing as I did with the other one. The writing is going to go towards the C-clip. Get some grease on there. This bearing is the 6210 C3. I'm going to heat it up and then tap it in. This one's also an 81 millimeter for the bearing hammer part of it. So this one is pretty fucking big. It's one way to do it. Tee-hee. Well, I smoked out the garage, so my wife made me open the garage door because that is still smoldering. Next step is going to be getting the seal in. Gonna clean the surface up, and then this guy I should be able just to tap in. And then I do have the ruler to make sure I tap it into the same height as I had it before. So hopefully that stops smoking and I get the seal in without dying. Okay, have a little bit of more air to breathe. The smoke is almost all out. Time to hammer that seal in. Gonna do the same thing with grease, get some grease on it. make it slide a little bit better.
And start tapping her in.
Definitely sucks because the seal is not going in straight.
Yeah. Forward. Oh, thoughts and prayers. So, it's 2 down.
Okay, holy fuck. This has been a bad time. So, I figured out the secret. So with that C-clip, originally I thought I was supposed to be prying it out, moving it, doing whatever. What you're gonna be doing is you're trying to compress it inward. So basically I'm trying to use 3 or 4 various picks, screwdrivers, whatever, compressing it in. And it should come out. So that's the fucking trick on getting these stupid flanges out. The stupid flanges out. Here's basically what you have to do to push that C-clip in. And then in theory, I'm gonna hit it with a hammer on the flange and this thing's gonna pop out. So we'll see. Love you. Nope. No? God, I felt like this is the Land Rover specialty tool, also known as a paper clip. Alright, so my camera died on this thing while we were getting it back together. So before it goes in, I just want to talk about a couple things that I had issues with, or, you know, stuff like that. Getting it back together was a pain in the dick. This side stays down, and then the top side is the one you kind of get it all wiggling and getting it all together and stuff. Really struggled with that, getting everything aligned. I later, the way I did it later was the whole input shaft with the pump I kept on this side, and then everything downstream of that I had it in the lower side. Made sure all the clutches were aligned, all that stuff. I got the pickup tube for the pump, got that mounted into place. The gear set, or the chain with the gear set, is kind of a pain in the ass to do also. But I was able to kind of wiggle it in, RTV everything. It's dried now. I still got to clean it up a little bit. I did spill some fluid like an idiot. I had the vent hole completely open and I was filling it with it upside down, and it just pissed the fluid everywhere. But other than that, the C-clips for the flanges were the biggest pain in the ass, and then reassembly was also a little bit tricky. It took a bit of time to get it together, but it's doable. I think on a long weekend. Another thing I want to mention is I did get this full rebuild kit from Lucky 8. Came with all of the input and output shaft seals and new bearings. And then as for the specialty tool, these were the original paper clips that I bought. The number 1 paper clips. I did end up needing something bigger and fatter. You do want a fatter paper clip. And this is basically how I got that C-clip out. Pushing that C-clip in next, or pushing the paper clip in next to the C-clip, and then tapping it out with a mallet. I was able to get that out. So this is basically the special Land Rover tool if anybody wants one. I'll sell you this one for $200. It's a JLR service tool, so let me know. So I got this thing running again. You go to your gap tool, calibration, transfer case, and you go through calibration position sensor and calibrate clutches. You go through the prompt that the gap ID tool tells you, and you should be good. So it's running. I don't see any warnings yet. I'm gonna go drive it and see what this thing does.